Okay, so here's the current iteration of that problem. So Mr. Jones has 11,000 to invest. So there's going to be two accounts. So he's going to have some amount of money in the first account, and then he's going to have some amount of money in the second account. And when you add those two together, they're going to make $11,000. So then the 5 and 6% for the interest rates. So we'll let X be the 5%. So to do math with percentages, we need to move the decimal two places, take the percent of something. So 0.05x, so that would be 5% of that amount of money. And then right here, this would be 6%, so 0.06 of this amount of money. Those two interest payments together are going to make $620. So that's the basic setup. Let me run through this and get the answers, and then show you what those answers are doing in this equation and this equation, and see if that makes it make any more sense. So like I said in the last video, the way that I always solve these is I take the smaller of the two numbers. I have my easy equation, I have my scaled equation. If there was money or something, like on this next one where it stocks, the 24 and the 27, that's what's going here because that's going to scale the money. But for this one we have percentages, so the way I always do these is I just take the smaller number, which in this case is the 5%, make it negative, and multiply both sides by that. So down here that's going to make negative 0.05x minus 0.05y equals whatever that is, 1100 times 550 negative. And I'll just rewrite this one underneath it. And then when I add these together, the x's drop out. That was the plan. 0.06 minus 0.05 will leave me 0.01y, and that's going to equal 5070. And then when you divide that over, it's going to move the decimal two places, and y should be 7,000. I'm getting that by 70 divided by 0.01. So if he had 11,000 in the two accounts and he has 7,000 in that one, then that means that x plus 7,000 equals 11,000. Oops. Subtracting that over, then x has to be 4,000. So what this equation right here is doing, and if you have a calculator handy, like, do this with me. So what we're doing is we're taking 0.05% of the 4,000 and then 0.06% of the 7,000. And I'm going to erase this stuff. Oop, I'm not going to clear. I need to erase and give myself a little more room. If I put those two answers in, let me show you what happens. So 5% of 4,000, that's $200. Plus 6% of $7,000, that's all we're doing is figuring out 5% of $4,000, that would be my interest payment. And then 6% of $7,000, that would be $420. So what this is representing is the interest payment you're getting on that amount of money, on that $4,000. So 5% of that 4,000 made 200, 6% of that 7,000 makes 420, and that's the 620 that we have right there in interest. So what these two equations are is this one is the total amount of money in one plus the total amount of money in the other is going to make a grand total of $11,000. So this person had 4,000 in the first account plus 7,000 in the second account, and together that makes $11,000. And the second equation here is the interest from the first account plus the interest from the second account is supposed to make $620. And then when you try that with these totals, 5% of 4,000 made $200, 6% of 7,000 made $420, and then those together make the interest payment. So this is the total money equation, and then this is the total interest equation. Every one of these solves exactly like that. If I go back to the problem you had here, just to show a little bit different version. So this one, the total was 19,000. The interest rates were 8 and 10, and then the total interest was 1,700. So the total amount he has in each account, X plus Y, makes the total amount of money 19,000. And then 8% of the money in the first account would be the interest payment. And then 10%, you do 0.1 or 0.1 or 0.10, they're both 10%. And then that would equal to 17,000. 1,700, excuse me. And that's every one of these. It's just the first one is going to be the total amount of money. The second one is going to be the interest. So again, if I were going to solve that, I'd multiply both sides by negative 0.08, add those together, and I'd have my y. That's pretty much what there is. So, and like I said, that next equation, the next problem is going to be really similar to that one as well.